Help, I'm pushing up.
Rotate.
Bruno.
They're rotating back. They're rotating back.
They're gonna go. Just rotate, guys. Just rotate. Give it up. Nice. Rotate.
Greetings, gamers, and welcome to episode number 28 of The Rotation with Zhack. And I guess this marks season number 2 of the Call of Duty League as we head into Vanguard. So we're going to hit a quick reset on everything, get our minds right, because Call of Duty Vanguard is 9 days away from release. Let's wrap our heads around that. I know a lot of people on social media are saying, you know, I'm not feeling a lot of hype for this year's game and people don't seem to be as excited. I don't care. It's Call of Duty. The Call of Duty League is still happening. There are plenty of reasons to be excited for Vanguard. I already put in for my time off work. I'm getting PTO, staying up late, getting a pizza, having some beer, and playing Vanguard with my brother on release night. We're having a LAN party at his house. It doesn't get better than that. Well, I guess it could. It does get better than that when we have implications from Vanguard into the Call of Duty League, and things have been wild lately. This offseason has been running rampant with roster mania, with storylines, with trash talk, with news coming out of merges and things of that nature. We're going to break all that down in today's episode of The Rotation with Zhack. Before we get into it, everyone, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel Zhack16. Find me on Spotify, Zhack16, Apple Podcasts. Everywhere you get your information, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it may be, it's as simple as that, Zhack16. It's all right there at the bottom of the screen. Leave a follow, comment on whatever you want to. Ask me any question you have about the Call of Duty League, and I'll be there. Same for TikTok, too. I don't have the logo down there, but Zhack16 is also my TikTok, guys. Make sure you get involved. We're trying to grow the podcast, build it up big for the Call of Duty Vanguard season. So without further ado, let's hop in to that first blood. And for this first blood take, I want to break down and talk about people and their expectations versus reality when it comes to a new season of the Call of Duty League. I posted a TikTok the other day, and spoiler alert, we'll talk about this roster change in a minute on the show, but my TikTok was about NYSL and how they could be one of the most dominant teams in the CDL, and I could see them winning champs. I had someone comment on my TikTok and say, hey, dummy, you forgot about these guys. That scuff controller you have, you forgot about the Atlanta FaZe. I don't see anybody beating them. There's a split that we have to see every single year when it comes from hindsight, formulating opinion with what we have from recent history, and future and predictions. It's a very complex formula that you have to put together for everything. Of course, Atlanta FaZe are the favorites to win champs this year, with Simp, Abizi, Celium, Arcity sticking together, Crowder as the coach. They have a lot of great guys behind the scenes as well as on the main stage in that team. But guess what? I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were one of the best teams in the NFL, destined for a Super Bowl visit again this year. They suck. They're horrendous. The hindsight in years past of the Kansas City Chiefs, they were great. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, but they'll be back. They'll bounce back. They still have the foundation of Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. Their defense, whatever. They've always been mediocre. They suck this year. Things change from year to year, and we can always have our predictions, have our expectations of teams, and then that can change wildly. Don't hear what I'm not saying here. I'm not saying that the Atlanta FaZe are going to suck this year and be one of the worst teams in the Call of Duty League, because that ain't true. They're going to still be an upper echelon top tier team competing for first place in every tournament, every major, and at the end of the season, I can almost guarantee that Atlanta FaZe, barring anything wild happening, will be there in the top 4 when it comes to champs. What that doesn't mean is that teams can't improve. Newfound rosters can't not create chemistry and have a chance for themselves to win champs. I talked about it last season before the year even started. The Minnesota Rocker were my dark horse of the season. I loved their roster even when they had accuracy at the beginning of the year, and then they switched it up. They found a great hidden gem in Standy, got Major Maniac back on the roster, and then Priest and Attach. They did what they had to do. Those guys weren't expected to go far at the beginning of the year. Everyone was talking about LA Thieves, OpTic, and Atlanta FaZe. Nobody was talking about the Minnesota Rocker, and they were great. It's the same thing for the New York Subliners and the same thing for a lot of these other teams. Roster mania is a wild thing. You don't know what kind of a combination a team and a franchise can put together to compete at the highest level. One of these teams getting scrapped together from young guys, guys from challengers, and then veterans as well, they could very well be the best team in the league. We don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. So I say all this to wrap it up, tie a bow on it, and some sparkles, a pretty little package to say we can't fully let hindsight create our expectations for the future. There have to be other factors that weigh into it, and we have to have an open mind when thinking about what can happen this season for the Call of Duty League. A lot of good teams will be there, and there's going to be a lot of teams that we think those guys are going to be great, and they're going to disappoint and underperform. You look at OpTic last year. They underperformed wildly. They didn't do anything that we thought they could. Seattle Surge stunk it up, and then they get to LAN, and it's like, oh my gosh, who are these guys? So any given week, anything can happen, and there's a lot of teams that will be put together, especially with the talks of some of these new teams coming into the league with Washington and whatnot. We have all that to break down. Just let it be known that you got to watch out for everyone. It can't just be the top dog, the Atlanta FaZe, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Other teams are going to make a run for it. Cincinnati Bengals are the best team in the AFC as of right now. That could be the New York Subliners. It could be the Minnesota Rocker. It could be the Toronto Ultra in the Call of Duty League. We don't know what's going to happen, but you have to watch out and keep your eyes open at all times. I think that's a good conversation to have. Let me know what you think about my first blood take there. And let's transition here into the barracks. There's a lot of news and notes to talk about, so why not break it down? Roster changes, rumors, everything. We got the whole 9 yards. You guys are going to want to start with the most popular thing that happened throughout the past week, and that's the merger between the Empire and OpTic and whatever they're becoming and the branding. They released their logo, or people have found the leak in the trademark section of things. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Let's get you guys there. So let's switch over to Google, go to Twitter, and then OpTic Dallas. And then we can find this sort of leak and what the logo comes to be. So right here, courtesy CDL Intel, OpTic Dallas logo has surfaced. Yeah, it looks dope. It's crazy. I don't think anybody saw this merger coming from the end of the season. We never thought anyone would give it up or work together as it goes as far as Hex and Hastro. But that's sweet. It's an awesome brand. They're probably going to be the most liked, most bought merchandise team in the Call of Duty League just because it has the name. It has OpTic. It's going to have Scump and Dashy as of right now. We don't know anything else about their roster, but that happens for the merger. We see the trademark here, NV Gaming, right there, inquire for OpTic Dallas, and there's the brand for it. So it's only a matter of time before this goes absolutely public and they announce the brand. We're still waiting on a roster. I don't really care. It's a neat logo and stuff, but we're still waiting on a roster. The same thing rumoring these teams, the Washington CDL team, and what the rosters will be for that, as you see as well. CDL Intel, if you guys don't follow Crone and his page there, get there right now, because he has all the information, the breaking news, anything you need for the Call of Duty League, he has it. So Washington is rumoring Methods, Vivid, Paul X, and TJ. I think that can be nasty. We always know TJ is hit or miss from year to year and week to week, so his performance can be spotty. I think Paul X, he proved himself. He's a warrior, man. That guy popped off, and he took a dismantled London Royal Ravens team and made them decent throughout the CDL season. Him and Afro put in work, so I think Paul X is a good focal point of the team, and I'm so excited for Zinni to get back in the league. I think he got robbed last year. He got screwed over. He wasn't able to be part of a team. He got benched. Didn't see the day of light for the rest of the season. He did his thing. He got huge as a content creator. He was on the flank with Zoom every week, but let's be honest. We want to see him back in the league. Washington, they're going to get a spot happening from this whole merger deal and all these wires crossing over with one another. Washington will get the spot. I think that's a neat city to have it sanctioned in and state. And I think Methods, Vivid, Pollux, and TJ can put in work. Vivid was nice. He filled in and played a great role in the Dallas Empire's success during the latter part of the season. I believe he can do the same this year. He's a good player when it comes to search and destroy. He runs really good routes, and he makes the difference on the map. And then when it comes to respawns, I think he has the ability to take over, but he has to find that opening, and I think this team can create the chemistry, figure things out to do that. Then you see right above that in the same tweet, the Paris Legion rumored roster, Temp, Decimate, John, and Fellow. That's a roster that I could see, like... That's one where you look at it for face value on paper. You see a struggle at the beginning of the season when they face the top name, top tier rosters. I think Temp is great. Fellow filled in well when he got his chance last year. Eventually got benched. And then John, he has the history. Didn't really have a big chance. LA Thieves got booted a couple of times in the first round. So he didn't really have the opportunity to prove himself in a lengthy tournament, and I hope we change the format this season where we get the old school pool play, double elimination. I don't know how we're going to be able to do it, but I would love to see teams not just start in the loser's bracket, lose a match, and then go home. That kind of sucked. But this team, they have the opportunity to prove the media and myself wrong. When you look at it on paper, you see the names, and like we all know, the learning curve for a new game is going to be present every year. We don't know who the game will favor until it comes out. It has the style of MW and the movement and everything like that. So I think that's where you could see, Fellow and Temp succeed. Decimate as well. He's a great young talent, but it's just tough on paper. I don't know if I see them being great to start the season, and Paris could struggle again to begin things. I'm just giving my honest opinion here on the roster and how I see their chemistry working. All these guys as individuals, they're excellent. I think Temp exceeded expectations last year, and he definitely had a chip on his shoulder and a target on his back, and he talked about it on the flank. He was pissed off about being underappreciated and undervalued by the media. He deserves a shot to be in the limelight of the media, and I'm giving it to him. But I'm just saying, when I break down the Call of Duty League, the Paris Legion right now, seeing that, they're on the bottom tier when I see it. God, I love coffee. Just an iced vanilla latte, homemade, triple shot of espresso. It doesn't get better than it. It doesn't get better to be sipping that, talking Call of Duty League with you guys. I get sidetracked so easy when coffee comes into play. So those are the first things when it comes to the Barracks news and notes around the league. You talk about the merger between OpTic and Dallas, Washington being the rumor to claim the spot, their roster, and then Paris's roster. And now we got to break down the big deal, the gargantuan deal, the entire thing, the kit and caboodle. NYSL have announced their roster through a series of Twitter videos, and we can kind of play this in the background, just see everything that's happening and react to it. This was so good from the NYSL social media team, Rambo's house, and Clay is there TPing it. Then out of nowhere, your boy, Crim6, who buys 2 sets of industrial night vision goggles, just comes rolling up in a full suit of armor with the night vision goggles to reunite with Clay, give him his own set, and then we're going to TP Rambo's house together. Rambo responded to this. He had a good laugh at it and said, "Whose house were you guys actually at when you filmed this video?" I talked about my TikTok that I filmed and posted yesterday at the beginning of the episode, and basically this is what I said. This NYSL roster is comprised as best as it can get. It has the perfect combination between youth, skill level, brains, and experience. You have multiple-time champions in Crim6 and Clayster. You have young studs running your submachine guns with Neptune and Hydra. Those guys overperformed what anybody expected them to be able to do when it came to last season. Hydra had a shot to be Rookie of the Year. Neptune played incredibly well, and I think their submachine gun styles, they just form perfectly with one another. Neptune just likes to be aggressive, run the map, run routes, slay out. Hydra can do the same, but he can be very versatile in his role as well. Then you talk about the leadership of Crim6 and Clayster, what they did with Dallas. Already were great when it came with Shotzi and Illy, won a championship. These guys know how to run a team. They have the experience. They know how to make adjustments. And they're going to talk to Neptune and Hydra plenty of times and say, "Listen, you got to do this. Listen to me, young gun. I've been here. I've ran the scene. I know what I'm talking about. If everyone can dial that in and they can all have an open line of communication where they don't feel like they have to sit back and be quiet, everyone can talk, speak their truth, and agree on a common sort of plan to go into every match with and execute that, NYSL could be extremely dangerous. I could see them winning champs, and they have everything that the Call of Duty League wants too. Because don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, this is a business. The Call of Duty League is trying to make money. The social media team at NYSL, arguably the best in the Call of Duty League. They combine sense of humor, they're on top of everything, they get their news out in a timely manner, and they're constantly posting, engaging with the fans. That's what the Call of Duty League wants. Then you get the personalities behind Crim6 and Clayster, and then hopefully we can get Hydra and Neptune to come out of their shells a little bit more. This is the perfect team for the Call of Duty League to have because they're going to have the skill, they're going to have the talent, and apart from all of that, on top of everything else, they have the social media, they'll get the fans involved, they'll make everybody happy with what's going on. Those are the big breaking news pieces that we've gotten over the past week. It's been all the roster changes. When we look at it for what it is, we don't have every roster comprised in its fullest. I can go through if you guys want and talk about the rest of those, but those are the big ones. It's the OpTic Dallas merger, Washington, Paris releasing maybe they're doing something, and then NYSL dropping a bomb on us confirming that roster. With NYSL dropping that roster, getting Neptune, we also did see some stuff with Florida. I really like them keeping Havoc because a lot of people said that he was going to, go out. I love him. He's such a good role player. He brings so much to your team, and he's the hype man. He's the route man. He does it all. Him and Skies are like the best of friends, as you see behind the scenes. Those two work really well together, and then we see Big Wake for now staying, and then Dave Patty is going there as well. I think Florida, they need these guys to shine. They can't have and afford Skies and Awakening sitting back and not having a good match because you're not always going to get Havoc to take over and have like a 1.5 in the hard points. He'll run the routes, he'll win rotations for you and get you in the position, but Skies and Awakening have to take over. They have to slay out, and that's what needs to be done for this team to be successful in the respawns. Then Havoc can pick it up. He can be the difference maker in search and destroy. So we'll talk about that, and I can bring this up on camera for you guys. Let me switch it over and get it on. Shout out breakingpoint.gg. They've been great throughout the entire offseason. Sorry if I'm giving you guys like a seizure there, moving my mouse. But I'm looking right here with the Florida roster. All that has been confirmed so far. I like that a lot. Seattle Surge, they got a lot going on. Looney left them to go coach for Minnesota. I think that's a good pickup for him. Dan, he's a really smart guy in the scene, and he always has been. And then when you look at the Seattle team, this is another one where they're taking a shot on these young guys, and it could make or break. Like we saw a few years ago, E United take the shot on Simp and Abizi, and it panned out. And Celia made his name with the Atlanta FaZe Academy. That's the path. You got to bring the rookies in at some time, and they're going to be the future. So I like Seattle taking the chance there. You get Sib, you get Pred, who have been dominant throughout the challenger scene, and then Accuracy is a guy who's been in the league for a while, and he is probably going to have to be the leader and the shot caller and explain a lot to these young guys. And then you get Mac as well. So I think this team, it comes down to how they click and how the chemistry works, but they have a shot to finally make Seattle a franchise that can be something for a team. You know, Nubsy, he's out as the coach, so Phoenix is in there, and then Novus as the GM. So a lot of question marks around these teams who have struggled from time to time. But that's what it's going to be for Seattle this year as we head into the Vanguard season. Toronto, we know they're staying the same. I know we're going back all the way to September here. Minnesota, they keep the roster. Envoy drops a bomb going to LA Thieves. Octane does the exact same thing. I like that a lot. And I think LAG, the two biggest teams that were at like the bottom of the barrel in the Call of Duty League, they have a chance to make a difference this year. The Los Angeles Guerrillas, and then I just talked about Seattle Surge, they have a chance to become like middle tier to top tier depending on how they perform because I really like what LAG did. Slasher's incredible. He's a competitor. He's one of the best we've ever seen in Call of Duty. I know everyone's been dropping like their top 50 lists. Slasher is wildly underrated for his career. Gunless is also incredible. Hook, if he can get his mental and everything in check and be a competitor and be there for his teammates the entire year, he's going to be nasty. And Asim he's one of my favorite players. I'm sad to see him go off NYSL. I know stuff had to happen to open things up to bring in Crim 6 and get Neptune as well. And him and Hydra probably click really well together as SMGs. But Asim he's a dominant SMG role, and he can play so strong around the map, and I think MW suits him very strongly as we're playing on that engine for Vanguard. So I think we watch out for LAG this year. If I had to pick between them and Seattle, just because the unknown of Seattle's players when it comes to the big stage and the limelight, I would take LAG to outdo Seattle when it comes to the bottom tier teams who have a shot to improve. Let me know what you guys think with all of these roster changes on Twitter at Zhack16, because when I look at it, there's a lot of different tiers. You have the teams who stay the exact same and like were dominant last season, like Atlanta FaZe, Toronto Ultra. They're going to be great again. We know it. The middle of the road teams that we saw, like Florida, like NYSL, what's going to happen with those roster changes? And then finally, which bottom barrel teams? Los Angeles Thieves, you put them in middle of the road too, I would say. But the bottom tier teams of Seattle and LAG, they have the chance to shine and be a top tier Call of Duty League franchise this season. They can open things up with branding and strategy and marketing. And then the play, when it comes to their matches, they can be a top tier franchise in the Call of Duty League. I want to know what you guys think. And the last thing we'll talk about is what's going to happen with Dallas OpTic, OpTic Dallas, whatever they're going to call themselves. It throws me off because every other team goes city and then their name. Minnesota Rocker, Seattle Surge, Los Angeles Thieves, Florida Mutineers, New York Subliners. But then it comes down to like OpTic Dallas, and it's like, what are we doing? Why are we trying to switch it up and make things confusing for all of us media personnel, for the casters? You guys are confusing us. But what are they going to do? Who are they going to pair with Scump and Dashy? They have the role of an AR and an SMG. What are they going to bring to the table for that team? You know that Scump and Dashy are not going to settle for anything greater than a top tier name in the CDL, and it just depends who's on the market at this point in time. Will anybody come out of retirement? Will anybody from a different team make a big wave in Roster Mania and leave who's not contracted and confirmed to come over to play with OpTic? I thought Methods would have a chance to go play with those guys. I really did. I thought him and Dashy would pair well because Dashy is more of the flashy flex AR, to whereas Methods is more of the postman, plays like Octane, slays out, holds down the lanes. And then you have Scump. I thought that they could have paired a young guy like Neptune with Scump, but now we know he's gone, he's off limits, he's with NYSL. And then a couple of these other SMG players with Asim, Hook, all of those guys, they're gone. They're on different teams. So I don't know what's going to happen with OpTic. I don't know who they're going to bring in, but it's only a matter of time. So we talked about it there. We get all the roster stuff out of the way. The final thing I want to talk about, short episode today. I think you guys like it that way. It's short and sweet. You can be making breakfast, taking a shower, whatever it may be, listening to the episode. I hope you guys aren't watching me when you're in the shower. Don't watch on YouTube when you guys are taking a shower. Listen on Spotify or something, for God's sake, please. All right? I don't want to be in there during your private time, but I know I like to listen to podcasts when I'm getting ready for the day. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm in the shower. But I just listen, all right? So let's make that clear, okay? Settle down with that. Eye contact. Let me promise that you're hearing me, okay? Thank you. Goodness gracious. But I think you guys like the shorter episodes because you can get them when you're driving to work, get them when you're making breakfast, and then go on with your day. So the final thing I want to talk about is the expectation for Vanguard. You guys know I can't talk about it as a game and, oh, it looks so sick, because I'm still rolling on a PS4 here. I don't have the next-gen console. I'm trying to buy a house with my girlfriend, and unfortunately, she tells me that is a priority over a PC. I don't agree. I think, hey, we get the PC. It's a little housewarming gift for myself. Bada bing, bada boom. I can make the podcast look better. My games look better when I'm playing. But that's besides the point. That's a conversation that I try to have with her every day. Say, maybe I can get a PC. But we're trying to buy a house right now. We're trying to move on with our lives and grind and move up with the world. You guys all know how it goes in the adult life and how everything is. Sometimes it's hard. So I'm not going to be able to talk to, this game looks sick, because I'm playing on a PS4, okay? I'm playing on crappy graphics, 1080. I don't get anything incredible like you guys do with your $3,000 setups. But from the beta, I had a lot of fun playing the game, and you guys know I was nasty. I was dropping nukes. I was doing everything you would anticipate Zhack to do in the game. I have high hopes for it. We need, what I talked about in First Blood, how hindsight is not reality in the future. We need to have the same expectation with new games coming out, because we have that cycle every year where we say, Cold War is so fun upon release, and then when the season goes on, this game sucks, I want to play MW2 again. Why can't we just have MW2 nostalgia, yada, yada, yada? We need to realize that these games, they have been good and they could be good. I enjoyed the competitive season for Black Ops 4, for Cold War, and Modern Warfare. I liked it a lot. For the CDL, I would like to not have Dead Silence be a field upgrade. I would enjoy it being a perk. It would change things up, how you build classes, and it could be more competitive. We could strategize what perks, classes, who's going to run what. It would probably be the submachine gun players, without it, running and gunning, but in Search and Destroy, everyone throws on Dead Silence. So I don't like that, but I have high hopes and high expectations for the game. The resounding consensus from the pros is that everyone likes the MW engine. They enjoy the TAC Sprint. We're probably going to play with ATS available this year. They like that. They like the movement, how everything felt. And we have the option where we've seen it in the menus in the beta to turn off opening doors and all that stuff. So I don't know how everything will work eventually with Vanguard, but I'll tell you this. When it comes down to the basics, I love the way the guns shot and the gunplay felt in the beta. The TTK was a little bit wild for me. It was a little bit off. It felt like it was a really, really, really different feel from games past, and maybe that's just something that I have to get used to. So that's one thing that I have to see. The maps there were a few good ones, but we haven't gotten the chance to see a lot of them. So I'm kind of worried about the maps, but the gunplay felt good. The movement is fluid, and I think it comes down to how everything goes and what we do with GAs, because there's 1.5 million attachments you can put on the guns and the combinations. So what's going to get GA'd, what's going to be banned, but I'm excited. 9 days until the Vanguard release happens. I'm staying up till midnight through the night. I'm challenging you guys. I'm going to be the first Prestige. I'm going to be streaming twitch.tv/Zhack16 the entire time. I'm going to be talking about what I think of the release, how it's going to play into the CDL season. I have high hopes for it. I always want to leave a flat baseline. I don't want to have too high of expectations, say this is going to be the best game ever, because then if it's good, then it sucks to me. And if I'm thinking, this game's going to suck, it's amazing, and maybe it's not that great. So I have a baseline. I'm ready to play Call of Duty. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be mediocre? How will it factor into the CDL season? Is it going to be good for a ranked play? Are they going to have that upon release? There have been rumors that they will. I hope they do. But we won't know everything that's going to be factored into the CDL season so far. So is it just going to be a good multiplayer game and fun for that? The Warzone integration? But I'm focused on the CDL and how it plays into the league. I have high hopes. Let me know. Drop your gamer tags down in the comments below. Let's squad up upon release and dominate kids together, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of The Rotation with Zhack. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a minute, but we're happy to be back. I appreciate you guys, as always. Show love down below. Find me everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, at Zhack16. It's as simple as that. Share the podcast with your friends and family, guys. We want to grow it, make this a great CDL season. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get into it. Contact me on Twitter. Let's have a conversation about the Call of Duty League, about life, what you guys like to do. I always love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.